Welcome to my review, such as it is, of How to Teach for Exams by Sally Burgess and Katie Head. So I need to make a disclaimer. I don't have anything intelligent to say about this book. I have had the habit of reviewing everything I read, either on my blog or this YouTube channel, since 2006. And because of that habit of just making some sort of review for everything I've read since 2006, I'm going to go through the motions of trying to say something about this book, but I don't really have that much to say. It's solid. It's got useful advice in here. There's nothing earth-shattering, but it's all good practical advice as far as it goes. So this is part of the How to Teach series published by Pearson Longman. How to teach English, how to teach English with technology, how to teach business English, how to teach speaking, etc. How to teach for exams. So this is professional development for my job working as an English as a second language teacher. A job I've been doing for many years now in several countries, but I'm currently in Vietnam. And the book is How to Teach for Exams. So in this case, an English proficiency exam. Some sort of official test that will give the student a level or certificate for their English ability. Now, if you're in the field of English teaching, you don't need me to tell you how big exams are as part of the business. And if you're not, you can take my word for it. Exams are a big part of the business. So it says here, it is difficult to imagine a career in foreign or second language teaching that does not at some point involve working with students who are preparing for an exam. So true. In Vietnam, where I'm currently working, the English language teaching business has been so thoroughly taken over by demand for the IELTS test. IELTS is the International English Language Testing System, quite famous in some parts of the world, that quite a number of the programs now have gone completely over to preparing students for the IELTS test. For better or for worse, it certainly has its problems. One problem is a problem that's briefly mentioned in this book is quite often lower level students who are not ready for the exam will insist on taking an exam preparation course, and that creates challenges. And another problem, again, briefly mentioned in this book, is some students will take multiple exam preparations courses. So like IELTS level 1, IELTS level 2, IELTS level 3. And the problem in those cases is that you run out of, you feel like you're running out of things to teach them. Once you've already familiarized them with the course, from a teacher's standpoint, you would want them just to study general English once they've already mastered the tips and strategies for the exam. But that's not what the market is demanding over here. So I've got a lot of thoughts on the state of the industry and the state, the way that the industry has been tilting towards exam preparation. But I'm going to resist the urge to go down that tangent because I'm going to try and focus just here on reviewing the content of the book. Other than to say, because the industry, at least in Southeast Asia, is so heavily concentrated on teaching for exams, I've had a lot of experience teaching for exams. I also have become a certified speaking examiner for 6 well-known international English language proficiency exams. I don't think I'm allowed to say their names, although at least 5 of them are part of the same suite of exams, but I'm counting them separately. And they are exams that are mentioned here in this book. And I mentioned that just to say that in this book they talk about the format of various speaking exams, and my own experience as a speaking examiner, I can validate the information that's given here, both the tasks that are commonly used in these exams and the things that learners need to prepare for. So good solid advice here. I mean, the whole book is really good solid advice. The problem is it's very basic stuff. As somebody who's been teaching exams for several years, it was mostly stuff I already knew. There were a few new tidbits in here, but for the most part, I just kind of read through this, and it just kind of reaffirmed to me what I already knew. Now that's largely because I've been teaching this for a long time. So a new teacher would find this to be more useful, I think, to a certain degree. The other thing, in addition to the industry largely being taken over by exam preparation courses, the industry has been taken over by textbooks. There's a great quote. I forget who said it, and I forget exactly the wording, but something to the effect of we are no longer in the age of methods or post-methods. We're in the age of the textbook, where the textbook becomes the curriculum now, or the textbook becomes the methodology. And certainly that's been true at all the schools I've worked at where there are exam preparation courses. The teacher gets handed a textbook, and the textbook is the syllabus, and the textbook is largely the methodology. And to be fair, I think most of these textbooks are fairly solid. So they give advice on exam skills and exam tips and exam techniques. Skimming, scanning, identifying keywords, predicting the content of the text before you read, or the content of the text before you listen, how to deal with distractors, all those kinds of things that are necessary when dealing with exam-style questions about the strategies to most effectively answer them. They're all there in the textbook, and it's a good thing too, because certainly, my initial training, and I think that a lot of initial trainings of a lot of teachers was not in exam techniques. It was, in a CELTA course, which was how to teach a grammar lesson or how to teach a speaking lesson, not how to teach students the tips they need to answer multiple choice questions on an exam. But the textbooks have those tips, and so you go over the textbooks with the students and practice the tips that you learn from the textbook. For example, but I mean really a lot of the tips in here, they're in this book here, How to Teach for Exams. They're good, but they're stuff that the teacher will normally pick up from the textbook anyways. And I don't know, certainly in my context, it's very rare that the teacher has input on the syllabus. So some of these things in the beginning chapter, like how to pace the course or something like that, is somewhat out of the teacher's hands. There's some... The first chapter, I think I was most impressed by. A lot of good practical advice about how to balance teaching and testing in an exam class. At the same time, though, you can see that they're short. The sections are not... The sections are short. So, for example, age. Now, in my context, this is a big factor. A student's age may have an impact on motivation, and this will have implications for course design, classroom procedures, and materials. Enrolling in an exam class and registering for the exam itself is usually something adults decide to do themselves. As a result, they may be highly motivated and willing to put in the necessary effort. Yes, that's all true. This means that the teacher can plan a course geared towards active and committed adult learners. In the case of younger learners, the decision to take the exam is often made for them by a parent. Yes, that is very true in my context. In some cases, the students may resent having to prepare for it or feel pressured by parental ambitions. Yes, very true in my context. This is all true. It's all true. If an exam class is made up of young learners like these, it is important to ensure that there are plenty of entertaining activities like songs and games to bolster motivation. Yeah. I mean, that's all good, but the thing is, this is the beginning of the problem, not the end of it. So, okay, this is the problem. This is what we need. And at least in my context, in an ideal world, then the rest of the textbook would be dealing with that. How to balance the parental expectations with the student's resentment, and what kind of songs, what kind of games, give me activities to help me with my unmotivated teenagers. Like that's what I need in my context. But instead, we just get the basic stuff about, what is assessed in listening tasks, developing task awareness, task rubrics. And again, it's all good, solid information as far as it goes. Most teachers will get this out of their textbook anyways, the textbook they're teaching with. I don't mean to complain too much, though, because I think, for an introductory book on exams, which this is, the authors did what they needed to do with this. I'm just saying, I think for most teachers, the real problem stuff is going to come after this, but if you're a new teacher and you've been assigned an exam course, this would be a useful read for you. If you're an experienced exam teacher, I don't think you'll get that much useful out of this book, but you'll find yourself certainly nodding your head to a lot of the stuff in here. There's a task file in the back here, which it's designed for people using this in a teacher training course. So tutors, if you're doing some sort of teacher training course and this book is assigned, there are no answer keys to any of this in the back. It's just, what does it say? Some of the exercises expect definite answers, but no answer keys. Well, there's only asked for the reader's ideas and opinions. So given that, I actually did not read the task file here. Usually I read these kind of things. because if I'm going to claim to have read a book, I like to have read it cover to cover before I say I've read this book. But in this case, I didn't see any point of just reading through these discussion questions without any answer keys to check the answers on. I've made some reference to the exams overviews here. Yeah. So certainly in the context where I live, the IELTS is mentioned. It is the big exam, which is mentioned in this book a little bit. Also, starters, movers, flyers, which are for young learners, I think might be mentioned briefly in this book. I don't remember. And then the cat and pet. Cat has recently changed its name to Key, and those are mentioned, yeah, in this book as well. Right. I think that's all I have to say about this. Yeah, I mean, sorry I don't have any intelligent commentary, but I warned you at the beginning, so hopefully nobody's upset about having their time wasted, and we'll just call this good.